Hey guys, my name is Daniela. I work as a life coach and meditation teacher, and I like to create content based on the premise that if we want to transform our lives, first we have to transform ourselves. Because everything in the outside world is a reflection of who we are, who we are being, and how we're showing up. The more we expand our awareness of who we are and the world and everybody around us, the more we can expand the quality of our lives. So in today's video, I would like to talk to you about this concept itself of um, why is it that we have to transform ourselves first before we see that expressed in the outer world. So whatever we're experiencing in life, it's, let's say, the result of certain actions and behaviors. And the understanding of, our part in it is absolutely crucial in bringing back the power of our lives. Because more often than not, we tend to focus on things we can't control, whether that's other people or the people's behavior. We might be, whatever environment you're coming from, if you're in the office, if you're at home, whatever job you may have. We all experience, different situations where maybe a coworker or a client, etc., has either an attitude or a way of being or showing up that isn't comfortable for us. And most of the time, we place all the energy that we actually need in order to change the situation on the other people, on how to change them, on criticizing them, on just being frustrated about the situation, but mostly focus on who they're being and their inability to actually change them. It's what brings this frustration, because we're focusing the energy in the wrong place. But if we bring this energy back to ourselves and we explore the discomfort behind the situation within ourselves, meaning if this is a situation that we actually don't want to experience anymore, if it's someone that is actually damaging us or hurting us in some way, then where we have control in the situation, or where the power resides, is within ourselves to set boundaries, to have a conversation with the other person if that's possible, and if not, then to remove ourselves from that situation. That's what we can control, for instance. As well as if it's someone that you must see every day, who do I have to be? How do I have to show up? And how do I have to feel about myself for that expression of the other person not to affect me? What do I have to think? What is it that I have to transform within myself about the situation and about the perspective I have of it for me to actually, not be bothered by it? It is very interesting because most of the time, we experience life as like, imagine like thousands of mirrors around. And out of those mirrors, we choose to stop and look at a certain one. And what I found true for me in my life is that there is a meaning of why I stop at a certain mirror. And that is, I'm talking about another person. What is it about this other person that bothers me so much? What is it about this person that triggers so many things within myself? Because sometimes I can't even explain it in the moment. I'm like, I don't know why this person bothers me so much. And instead of, blaming the other person for bothering you, or, just by their presence, I like to, or I learned and I realized the power in it to actually see the reflection, to see what is it that I have to learn from this situation, from this particular mirror. It might be that it's showing things of myself that I haven't accepted, or maybe showing in a very authentic way that for me maybe is noisy, or it's out of the norms that I had in my mind. And it's like, oh wow, perhaps this is something that I need to transform within myself, so that I don't get bothered by it anymore. Because by me getting bothered by someone else's just expression of life, I'm giving away my power to someone else to do whatever they want with me. I'm giving the power to someone else to affect my emotions, my mood, my state of being, my life. So there are many things that we can learn by looking at it instead of removing it or judging it. Whether that's something we have to learn about ourselves, whether that's something we have to learn about the way we see life and the judgments we create towards other people and ourselves. Perhaps, as I mentioned before, it is time to change the situation. It is time for us to create boundaries, to remove ourselves from this connection. But it is definitely always, always bringing a message for us. And it is our responsibility to stop, remove all the cloud of, frustration and anger and resistance towards the situation and the other person, and start looking at it clearly and realizing what is it that is needed from me right now to transform the situation. This is one clear example to how to transform that experience. It doesn't mean that it's going to be pleasant. It doesn't mean that it's going to be pleasant, because when we set boundaries, it's a very unpleasant situation. When we need to have a certain conversation with someone else and to, stand on our ground, or to, authentically give a feedback about how you are experiencing this connection, and perhaps the possibility of having to remove yourself from it, that's definitely going to be uncomfortable. That's definitely going to be an uncomfortable experience if it's something that you haven't practiced before. It's always this feeling of stretching, right? Like when we go to the gym the first day, it's always sore in your body, but that's okay. That means that your muscles are growing. It doesn't mean that like, oh, now my body's hurting, I can't work out anymore. No, this is how it works. You feel sore when you go and work out, and then you continue exercising your body so that your body gets used to it, gets used to the discomfort of that pain. And there is a point where you start enjoying it. You start enjoying it because you see results. You see your muscles growing. You see your body feeling stronger and healthier. So it is the same when it comes to these patterns or these practices we do in our interaction with ourselves and the world. It feels this feeling of soreness at the beginning. But the more we practice it, the more we see results, the more we see how clear and how authentic and how more peaceful and more grounded our relationships become, and our connection to our external world and ourselves and the way we see everything. So again, it doesn't mean it's going to be comfortable, but bringing the awareness and taking back your power instead of giving it to someone else, and making the decisions that need to be made from your part to change, to transform that situation. That's a process of, going within and transforming yourself so that you can transform the outer world. The more conscious you become about that situation, about yourself and how you are viewing it, the more you can expand the quality of that experience, and therefore the experience, the quality of your life. So there are different this is just one example that I believe we can all relate. We can all encounter this, even if you go shopping or if you go just walking on the street. There's so many possibilities of being triggered around. And a wonderful technique is to just stop, take a deep breath, or take as many deep breaths as you need. Just focus on the breath. And what this allows you to do is to quiet your mind. Because our mind is basically, or the thoughts we're experiencing in our mind are the problem itself. So when we trigger, the thoughts start coming and the feelings start coming up in your body or in our bodies. And now we start seeing this from this very awful and heavy place. However, if we quiet our mind for a moment, we give ourselves permission to remove ourselves from the thoughts we're having, which most of the time aren't even ours. These are either conditioning that we, learn through our, early years or late years as well. We're constantly being conditioned by different experiences. So if we quiet our mind by just taking some deep breaths and coming back to the present moment, we can tap into the feelings we're having in our body. we can ask questions to that voice that is talking without actually identifying with it, just taking a step back and looking at the thoughts, experiencing and noticing the feelings that are arising within our body. And when that's happening, with the arising of thoughts, the arising of feelings are coming, that's when we can transform the experience. We can ask ourselves, what is it here that it's triggering me? Where in my body is that triggering me? And then you can breathe into that feeling and you can clear it out. You can make the decision of transform your way of thinking about the situation. This situation is triggering me. Where am I looking? How am I looking at it that it's bothering me so much? And answers will arise as you ask yourself the questions and as you allow yourself to listen to them without judging them. Because once you start judging them, then we come back into that same pattern of identifying ourselves with those thoughts. So it is very important to take that step back. That step back allows us to see ourselves from a place of compassion, because compassion is a practice. And the more we practice that with ourselves, the more normal it becomes for us to experience that with everybody else. And therefore, reduce the amount of triggers we experience, because we don't take everything so personal, including ourselves. So we take a deep breath. We release the emotions that might be arising in your body. We listen to them. We ask the questions we need to ask. And we make a decision from there. If it's a situation that has nothing to do with you, in a way of you can just continue on your path, you can ask yourself, how do I need to look at this situation for me to transform it completely? How can I be free from the thoughts that are being triggered and the emotions that are being triggered from the situation? How do I have to show up? What do I need to believe instead of the beliefs that are showing up right now, that are conflicting so much with this reality? And when we ask those questions, we take our power back within ourselves, because we're asking, how can I change? How can I transform my way of thinking? How can I how can I see this experience or this scenario for me to have peace with it, for me to not, fall for it and go through life reacting and like being punched and pulled and pushed by everything that is happening. So I would like to, invite you to give it a try, to, as much as you can. For instance, today, come back to the present moment, get into the habit of taking deep breaths and just observing what's happening around you and how you're feeling within yourself. Because we live with ourselves and we are so unaware of our own existence and our own thoughts and feelings, without realizing that those are the ones that are creating our reality and the way we see and experience the world. So the more we take that step back and the more we connect with ourselves and how we experience that, the more control, or the more not control feels like it's taking over something, but the more power we're going to have towards our lives, towards ourselves, and towards the experience we are choosing to have of life. Because challenges are always going to arise. There are challenges everywhere for all of us in different costumes, let's say. But it is our perspective of it. It is our ability to come back within ourselves and to regain the power to realize that this reflection or this experience is mirroring back to me the way I am choosing to see it, the way I'm looking at life, the way I'm thinking and believing the world is and that I am in that world. So the more we choose to gain or regain our power back and to reframe situations so that we can have a better quality and experience of life, the more we're going to realize how powerful we truly are and how it is true that in order to change the reflection in the mirror, we need to change ourselves. We can't break the mirror and pretend the person that is looking at itself in the mirror to change. We're just going to break the mirror and we're going to see that reflection broken into little pieces. And that doesn't help the mirror, it doesn't help us. But if we choose to look at that reflection with different eyes, look at ourselves and the world with more compassionate, more grounded, more understanding, then we can, in every given moment, choose the quality of that experience and therefore choose and expand the quality of our lives. Thank you so much, guys, for your time. And I hope this video was helpful in some way. I would like to remind you the premise, the belief that I deeply have that in order to transform your life, whatever experience it is that you're having, the focus is within. The focus is in transforming yourself, the way you're showing up, the way you're viewing yourself on the world. And you will automatically see your reality transform. See you in the next video, guys. Ciao.